It's been another great week here at Warehouse and Operations as a Career. I hope everyone's had a safe and prosperous one as well. I'm Marty, and I've been out on the road the last 2 weeks, so I'm really grooving on getting caught up and settled in myself. It's very cold here in Texas. It seems a little early for us to be seeing these temperatures around here. All week I've been getting comments about the snow showing up early in Illinois, and I heard from Denver. I just heard Pennsylvania has some of the nasty stuff up there this week too. I only say nasty not because it's not beautiful, of course, and it does help kill a lot of those pesky flying critters, but it can make for some treacherous driving situations and plays havoc with our industry's routing and delivery schedules. Does any of y'all's facilities do any kind of cold stress training or talk about the need to take care of our muscles this time of year? Joe did a really good presentation just about this time last year, and I believe he's got something scheduled for next month to broadcast to his group of soups and managers. You know what? Maybe that would be the first thing that we could put up on our YouTube channel. Let me see what he thinks about posting that. When I think about cold stress, I always remember my startup meetings as an order selector. We do some short exercises to kind of warm up our muscles, maybe something like arm and leg stretches, something really simple like that. A lot of us would get together after our breaks and lunches. I don't know if there's really any medical benefits to doing it, but it did make us feel better, and I've never had a muscle problem at all in the winter. OSHA has a pretty good page on cold stress, and I'll add it into today's show notes. I think you'll find it pretty informative. Most cold stress meetings that I've attended brings up the safety aspect. Things like how contributing factors can include diabetes and hypertension, being out of shape, or in poor physical, health. Also, the wetness and dampness and not dressing properly can be a serious issue and really contribute to our bodies suffering from cold stress. Cold stress is stated by medicaldictionary.thefreedictionary.com. Occurs at temperatures less than 50 degrees Fahrenheit, 10 degrees Celsius, varying with chill factor, wetness, protection from wind. Everything I found on the internet kept referring me to the word hyperthermia, so I checked that out on wikipedia.org. There I found all the cautions that I'd really been taught before. Your management team should be teaching you the signs and preventions, but it never hurts to do a little self-education on our own. Especially where safety needs are concerned. A few of the mild symptoms to really be aware of is, of course, shivering. Maybe our heart rate increases a little bit, maybe a faster respiratory rate, and even some mental confusion. A moderate level of hyperthermia can increase our mental confusion. Muscle miscoordination can become apparent to us also. We could notice our ears, lips, fingers, and our toes turning a bit blue as our blood vessels constrict to keep our internal organs warmer. And then there's severe hyperthermia, which can present with sluggish thinking, maybe even slurred speech, or even amnesia. It's important we remember to stay hydrated in the winter, and that alcohol can actually add to our loss of body heat. I worked in the freezer for about 6 years. I was always really dressed properly with my freezer gear, but I did see a few order selectors and lift drivers deal with pretty mild cases of cold stress. Again, it's really about doing what we've been taught in our training and using a little common sense. If your supervisor hasn't brought up anything about winter safety, hit him up with your knowledge of cold stress and hyperthermia. That'd be a great safety topic to get you noticed. A few other things you could mention is to be cautious with the outside stairs and handrails. I hate those metal steps coming in from the transportation yard. Just a little mist or freezing rain or snow is the perfect recipe for a fall. Maybe mention having a box of de-ice around. It's super inexpensive and comes in really handy when you need it. Even here in Texas, where we only see icy conditions a few hours a year, it'll save someone from falling that's walking into the building one morning. Well, as good a topic as cold weather is, I was wanting to share a thought from one of our listeners last week. He said he didn't mind me sharing his story, but he didn't really want to talk about it on the show. I'll call him Jeff. Remember our fictional character from our first few WAOC episodes? Well, Jeff is 23 years old, and he's looking for his 9th job since graduating high school. Jeff's been following the show and disagreed with my thoughts on goal setting, planning, and how I believe that any of us could earn $5,000 more in a year if we just decided to. We had a really great talk and ended up just agreeing to disagree, though, but I am excited about having a new friend in the industry. Anyway, Jeff's been a forklift operator for about 2 years, I think a year and a half on a counterbalance, and almost 6 months using a stand-up reach lift. His major complaint was that he's always passed over for promotions or getting to move from one job task into another that would, of course, pay him a little bit more money. I asked him about his attendance record and how was his tardies and if he ever contributed to the daily pre-shift meeting or their daily safety meetings. I went on to ask him about his job, what all that it really entailed, and how the freight moved throughout his warehouse. A few questions about his equipment, just a lot of things like that. Jeff's point was that he's an employee and should be compensated for what he does, and that all that team participation and knowledge stuff shouldn't really matter. Jeff seemed a little surprised when I wholeheartedly agreed with his statement. I pointed out that he was being paid for the job that he was doing, and only being paid for the job that he was doing. I believe every job in the warehouse is a great career choice. I know fork operators that's been doing it for, 10, 15 plus years. They love operating a lift and planning on retiring from that job. It's given them all that they want. They've reached their goal, and I think that's a great thing. But I pointed out to Jeff that it seems he's wanting something else, so we explored that for just a little bit. Jeff stated that his goal was to earn more money. He felt his next job should pay him more than his last position did because now he's got a little bit more experience. Jeff hadn't thought about or really decided what industry that he wanted to apply to or what benefits they may be offering, and wasn't concerned what, if any, advancement opportunities his new employer could offer up. He only knew he wanted to drive a lift and make more money than he did at his last job. As we've discussed many times here at WAOC, we, as employees, especially in today's work environments, have to own some of these responsibilities ourselves. Our industry is the greatest that there is. I mean, really, without a college education or any special schooling at all, just by working hard and doing a little self-education along the way, we can retire from operations earning over $100,000 a year. Yes, it's going to be hard work. We have to be responsible and loyal to the industry, but that's required with any career, isn't it? Back in October in episode 108, we talked about how everything we accomplish is about choices. I really do believe that we control our careers, and we'll get out of them exactly what we put into them. Like I mentioned, I've been traveling and had an opportunity to read a book by Cindy Brown while I was flying. You may remember her. I mentioned her podcast, Unlocking the Secret to Living Rich, from time to time. Anyway, her new book is called Pragmatic Prosperity, The Art of Living Rich. She shares several thoughts or techniques that I believe us as employees can prosper from in our daily lives, as well as teaching us how to become wealthy to boot. No, I'm not affiliated with it in any way. I just think it's a great book. It's 99 cents on Amazon Kindle right now. You ought to check it out. You'll be richer from reading it. Speaking of affiliates, last week I was asked 3 or 4 times if WAOC was affiliated or being sponsored by the equipment manufacturers that I mention ever so often. Nope, no affiliation right now with anyone or any company at all. We like sharing our opinions and experiences too much. I wouldn't do well having to speak to someone else's thoughts or ideals. I do try and post links to any articles or websites that I mention, though, primarily so you can read something that's really interesting or that I found really interesting. Boy, I strayed way off topic this time, didn't I? Let's see, where was I going with all this? Oh yeah, but I do believe that we can control our careers. It's the choices we make, good and bad. Sometimes the bad ones are necessary for what's going on in our lives at the time, but it's our choices that takes us where we're going. Let's get back to Jeff's point for just a minute. If we're tardy too often or take too many days off, We're just being that average employee, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with being that. I know some managers are cringing right now, but really the average employee in the workforce believes that's fine. And, really it is. Being average will earn us X number of dollars an hour, and as long as we don't go over that average number of days off or tardies, and we hit our average productivity numbers, we'll keep those jobs. An average employee punches in, completes his or her shift, punches out, and never thinks of the job or career again until the next day when it's time to punch back in. As Jeff mentioned, that's an employee getting paid for what he or she does. As we've talked about before, those with more experiences and more knowledge earn more money. That's just a fact. As you know, I believe if we want to earn more, we just have to let our management team know that and let them see that through our actions. Communication and participating is going to show them that we want more and they're going to need us, maybe even to take their place so they can move up to the next spot themselves. As for earning $5,000 more this year, it's really a given. If we're that employee, our extra overtime alone that our manager will need from us is going to get us there. And that extra $5,000 is really only $2.40 more an hour over the whole year. Being that employee will earn us those promotions or the movement between departments or tasks to earn us that much really easily. I've always tried not to get hung up on the hourly wage. Use your tax filings each year as a metric. Here in the States, that'll be our W-2 form. You're probably achieving more than the $5,000 annually already. If not, I assure you that you can, and it is really up to you. I'm looking forward to more talks with my new friend in the coming months. He's agreed to check in with me every few weeks, and I'm going to see if I can help him with getting noticed and maybe getting those increases that he's chasing. I'm looking forward to working with him. And if you have any questions about getting noticed or just want to vent a little about your situation, shoot us an email to host@warehouseandoperationsasacareer.com. We'd be happy to help or offer up some experiences or a few fact-based opinions on just about any subject that you shoot to us. Well, we only have 6 weeks left in 2018. It's about time to start reflecting on the goals that we reached this year and planning out those 2019 ideals. If you haven't started tossing them around yet, it's time, ladies and gentlemen. Be sure to start putting something on paper. Well, thanks for listening in again today. Have a great week ahead and be safe. Get noticed by your management team and share some of your knowledge with the new guy, especially the safety stuff.